Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Charlie Yankfer. I've been a resident here in beautiful Rainbow Lakes for close to 42 years. I'm a Vietnam veteran who served with the United States Marine Corps in 1969 and 1970. I would like to open today's ceremony with the following presentation. It's an honor, a real honor, to be here with you today as we come together to remember and honor the service and sacrifice of our nation's finest and bravest. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. We find ourselves here on this day gathered together to reflect on this one sentiment uttered many years ago by President John F. Kennedy. Words he believed were useless, unaccompanied by action. This is why the many gather here to honor our veterans, the few who are willing to serve and give of themselves to defend their brothers and their country. It's a small fraction of our population charged with keeping us safe, with keeping our liberties intact. So how do we properly thank this fragment of the population who's done so much to keep this country, our prosperity and freedoms in place? It's interesting how different generations of veterans respond to being thanked for service. Our World War II veterans generally seem to receive it politely, stoically, knowing that they had simply fulfilled their patriotic duty by fighting abroad. Korean and Vietnam War vets, at times overlooked, seem genuinely touched when welcomed home and remembered. For our most recent generation of veterans, who represent an even smaller percentage of the population than in previous wars, the gratitude is accepted, but many feel a sense of disconnect from their civilian peers. What is common throughout all generations of veterans, however, is the absolute insistence that the gratitude truly belongs not to them, but to their fallen brothers and sisters who paid the ultimate sacrifice for this country. Warriors are selfless creatures. They fight as a team and as a family. They look out for one another to their last dying breath. It is easy to surmise that there is no better way to thank a veteran than to protect their brethren. For those who never left the battlefields, we must hold them in our hometowns and honor them and honor their memories. We should spend today reflecting on their service and sacrifice and live in gratitude each and every day for the precious gift they have bestowed upon us. As a nation, we made a promise that must be kept. To honor our fallen, we must keep that promise. We keep those promises by strengthening the programs and services that our injured and ill veterans rely on. We must ensure that they and their caregivers are properly supported. We thank our veterans by fighting for them when they can't fight for themselves, by ensuring that they and their survivors get the care they earned when they wrote a blank check up to and including their very lives. In closing, I'd like to recognize those who have lost a loved one in the line of duty to this country. It doesn't matter how much time has passed, no words of condolence can even begin to adequately console a survivor's grief. And while grief from loss may change throughout the years, it never leaves us. Color Guard, present the colors. Present. Order. Color Guard at ease. Veterans, first responders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the veterans of Rainbow Lakes and the Rainbow Lakes Volunteer Fire Company welcome you. I would like to introduce Parsippany Fire Company Chaplain Donald Bragg, Reverend Donald Bragg. He will offer an opening prayer. Don is also an EMT with the Rockaway Neck First Aid Squad.
Please pray with me. Almighty God, giver of all victories, we thank thee for the many blessings which abide in our free land. Help us remember with reverence the devotion of our departed comrades, not only those who consecrate our country's soil, but also those who sleep in foreign lands and deep within our seas. Ignite in us the same spark of courage, strength, and love of country that made it possible for these ordinary people to accomplish such extraordinary deeds. May thy merciful blessing rest upon surviving veterans of our great wars, veterans in need, our first responders, and the men and women of our armed forces now in harm's way throughout the world. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Please join in the singing of our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I'm now going to ask Chief Joe Reaver to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And all the young folks down there, if you'd like to join in, please do. Where are you all? Violet, you want to come and help with this?
Come on up, kid. Right here, right here.
You guys gotta talk really loud so people can hear you. Okay? Got that? Alright, ready? Company present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, guys.
We have a number of special guests with us today. Please hold your applause until all are introduced. From Mars County Government, County Clerk Ann Grassi. We have here today our Mayor, Michael Soriano. From our Town Council, VFW and American Legion member, Michael D. Piero. He is also Council President. Councilwoman VP, I'm not sure if Loretta's here. Okay, well, I'll acknowledge Loretta Gragnani, who's usually here. We'll also, I think that's it. Rainy days keep people away, it looks like. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Soriano, the Mayor of Parsippany.
I want to thank the Rainbow Lakes Fire Department and the veterans of Rainbow Lakes for having this event again this year. The difference between this year and last year is not the rain for me. It's that this year I can see smiles. Not in the eyes, but your actual smiles. And it's good to see all of them here today. Now, the departed patriots we remember today gave their last full measure of devotion. Not so that we might mourn them, though we do. Not so that our nation might honor their sacrifice, although it does. They gave their lives so that we might live ours, so that a child may grow up to pursue their dreams, or a spouse might be able to live a long life, free and secure, in a land of peace and freedom. At its core, the nobility of Memorial Day can be found in the stories of everyday Americans who become extraordinary for the simplest of reasons. They love their country so deeply, so profoundly, that they were willing to give their lives to keep it safe and free. More than 1 million people have lost their lives fighting for the United States of America. And these centuries, and each year, Americans endeavor to remember those sacrifices. But how can citizens honor such services? Less than 1% of our nation wears the uniform, and so few Americans see this patriotism with their own eyes to know someone who exemplifies it. But every day, there are American families who pray for the sound of a familiar voice when the phone rings. for the sound of a loved one's letter or email arriving. And more than 1 million times in our history, it didn't come. And instead, a car pulled up to the house, followed by a knock on the front door, and then followed by the sounds of taps floating through cemetery trees. This past Christmas, my grandfather Pablo turned 93 years old. He was drafted in 1949 and served in the infantry in the Korean War. This is not something he discussed with my father or my aunts, but for some reason he feels more comfortable discussing his experiences with his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. He came home with many physical injuries, and the pain of these faded with time. However, the memories of the brothers in arms he lost has never faded, and in time the pain of losing them has actually grown stronger in the past 20 years. When asked if he would have gone to war if he hadn't been drafted, he says yes. My grandfather knows that it was worthwhile, and like his relatives who fought in World War II, he wanted to serve his country. Truly remembering means that after our fallen heroes gave everything to get their brothers in arms home, we have to make sure our veterans get everything that they have earned, from good health care to a good job. And as a nation, we have to do better. Our work is never done. We have to be there not only when we need them, but also when they need us. Our nation owes a debt to its fallen heroes that we can never fully repay, but we honor their sacrifice, and this is something we must do. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd now like to introduce the County Clerk of Courts, Ann Grassi.
Good morning, everybody. I have this speech prepared, but it basically is reiterating a lot of what the mayor said. So I wanted to talk to you about this morning for me. I got up like most of you, looked out at the weather and thought, ooh, the last place I want to be is standing outside in the rain. And then I thought, you know what? Our men and women who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, a lot of them didn't want to be walking outside in the rain, or dying in a puddle in the rain, or walking through a swamp in Vietnam, or a rice paddy. So I really thought about that, and it said, well, if they could do that for me, then I can come here today to honor them. And we all know that this is not about, this is about our fallen heroes, that we're honoring them today. You're here today because you understand that, and you brought your children here. And that's what we need to do more of. We need to educate our young people to what these different Veteran Day, honored Veteran Days are really, what their meaning is and what they're all about. So I would like to just close. I think it's important to be short this year, but in the words of Ronald Reagan, we are forever indebted to those who have given their lives so we may be free. I think that sums up why we're here today. And I'd like to wish you all a wonderful weekend. God bless us all. God bless Parsippany, and God bless our great country that we all live in. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Right now, I'd like to thank the people that have come today, particularly the Rainbow Lakes Volunteer Fire Company. They are the prime mover behind today's event, and we're grateful to take part. Many thanks to Doug Regard for his efforts in setting up today's event. And thanks to Gordon Furlong, who without him I would not have this microphone here today to use so you could hear me. Thanks also to Ken Vanderhoof for arranging the seating behind me, and the fire company for arranging these tents. And I want to thank Greg Smith for his help in putting together today's proceeding. Greg is also a Vietnam veteran who served in the United States Air Force, and he's also a good friend. Sincere thanks to all the visiting fire companies, emergency units, and other first responders. You have our utmost respect for all that you do, and we are most grateful to have you here in attendance. And a special thanks also to the Cuhullin Pipe Band. They have graciously donated their time and talent to be with us today. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring to the dais Deputy Chief Doug Regard. Doug is a Navy veteran, and he's also the Deputy Chief of the Rainbow Lakes Fire Company. Doug?
Thank you, John. Are you familiar with the name of John McCrae? He was a Canadian military doctor and an artillery commander major in the Canadian Expeditionary Forces during World War I. He didn't survive the war, but he left us with a little poem in Flanders Field which seems destined to live forever. Although Flanders Field is actually a commemorative cemetery in Belgium, its name has come to represent the final resting places, marked and unmarked, of those who have fallen in battle. It is a privilege to give voice to his words. In Flanders Field the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, fell dawn, saw sunsets glow, lived where loved, now lie in Flanders Field. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from falling hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith us who die. We shall not sleep through poppies grow in Flanders Field. Sleep well, you brave heroes. So long as veterans exist, so long as there are Americans who care, you will not be forgotten. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doug. We'll now honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice while fighting for our freedom. For World War I, 116,700 dead. Mike DiPiero presenting. Mike is a Vietnam-era veteran, U.S. Air Force presenting. Present. Order. World War II. For World War II, Mike DiPiero, Air Force vet, also presenting. The 407,316 died in World War II. Present. Order. Korea, 36,914 dead. Bob Freeman, U.S. Navy Corpsman, veteran, presenting. Present. Order. Vietnam, 58,220 dead. Bob Freeman again presenting. Present. Order. Lebanon, Grenada, and Panama. Doug Regard, U.S. Navy veteran, former Rainbow Fire Chief, current Deputy Chief, presenting. Present. Order. Persian Gulf, Iraq, Afghanistan, and ongoing. Greg Smith, Vietnam veteran, U.S. Air Force, presenting. Present. Huh. Order. Huh. Rainbow Lakes Fire Chief Joe Reaver will now place a flag in the wreath to honor all those who have died and give us the ultimate sacrifice for our country, and also those who have passed in this last year and a half through this pandemic. Present. Huh. Order. Huh. Please now stand in silence while Rainbow resident Ken Vanderhoof performs taps. Present. Huh. Order. Thank you. That was very nice, Clint. I will now have Greg Smith come to the dais again, and Greg Smith will give us a tribute to Bill Degorski, who many of you know from living in this neighborhood for many years. Oh, I'm sorry. We got something before that. I don't know about the rest of you, but that was pretty moving. Okay, and I got ahead of myself there before. Sorry about that. I will now have Greg Smith come to the dais to pay a tribute to Bill Degorski.
Good morning, everyone. As many of you may know, Bill Degrosky, a longtime resident of Rainbow Lakes, passed away in January at the age of 93. A World War II veteran, he was just 17 years old when he enlisted into the Army, ultimately serving as an infantryman in the Philippines, where some of the most brutal battles of the war took place. Bill and his family settled in Rainbow Lakes in June 1964. Less than a month later, he took to the microphone as MC for the club's annual 4th of July celebration at the beach. He went on to be an active member of the club, serving as general events trustee, editor of the Over the Rainbow, and club president. Many memorable club events, such as casino nights, July 4th, and Labor Day celebrations, and bus trips to the circus, Seaside, or Mystic, were made possible by Bill's love for the community. Bill and his wife Lucille welcomed their children's friends into their home, even when their own kids no longer lived there. It wasn't just a comfortable place to play games or hang out. It was also a place to ask for advice, share joy, or find a shoulder to cry on. For some, it was a second home. He was an active member of the American Legion. Bill was chaplain and a past commander of Rainbow Lakes Post 451 and served as county commander from 2010 to 2012, at which time he received the New Jersey Distinguished Service Medal. He received 3 appointments as state chaplain and was inducted into the Legion of Honor of the Four Chaplains Foundation. Bill was proud to serve on a committee that created Parsipani's Veterans Memorial Park, where he was a regular speaker. Halloween was a favorite time for Bill, and he enjoyed organizing the Legion's annual children's party and costume contest at the clubhouse. At the time of his death, Bill was married to his second wife, Edna Genti. He was predeceased by Lucille, his wife of 58 years, and is survived by their children, Bill Jr., Linda, Mike, and Matt, and their families.
Thank you, Greg. Please welcome Bill's daughter, Linda Degrosky McGee, for the reading of A Soldier Died Today.
A soldier died today. He was getting old and paunchy, and his hair was going fast. And he hung out at the Legion, telling stories of the past, of a war that he had fought in, and deeds that he had done. In his exploits with his buddies, they were heroes, every one. And sometimes, to his neighbors, his tales became a joke. All his Legion buddies listened, for they knew wherever he spoke. But we'll hear his tales no longer. The old-timers passed away, and the world's a little poorer, for a soldier died today. An ordinary kind of kid caught up in war and strife, went off to serve his country and offered up his life. But he came back, raised a family, simply going his own way. And the world will little notice that a soldier died today. If we can't do him honor while he's here to hear the praise, then at least let's pay him homage at the closing of his days. I'd like to see a headline in the paper that might say, "Our country is in mourning, for a soldier died today." Friends, there's a long line forming beyond the evening star. Old-timers like him, kids far from home, mustering from near and far. The aches and pains are over. No more fears of growing old. He's at post everlasting now, beyond those gates of gold. As they come to bid him welcome, I can hear the commander say, "You gave yourself to others, son, A soldier is reborn today.
Thank you so much, Linda. That was beautiful. I'd like to ask Greg to now raise our flag to full staff in honor of our departed comrades.
Okay.
The weather has messed the flag up something terrible. Present. Order. Please reach out and join hands for God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. I'll bring the chaplain back for a closing prayer. Reverend Donald Bragg.
Not only remembering now Chaplain Bill, but also 109 citizens in Parsippany who passed away during this year of COVID. Will you pray with me? Lord, open our minds and our hearts that we may remember those who have passed before us. Hold our troops in your loving care. Welcome those now dying in the name of freedom and the growing tide of older veterans now crossing over into thy service. Shelter them in your love and give unto them the peace and comfort and glory so well deserved by all those who have served our flag. On this day of remembrance, may the love of God and country go with each of you. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Now please remain in place until the color guard leaves the field. Color guard, retire the colors. Present. You may exit the field, color guard. Order. Considering today and the weather we've had, which was so severe this morning, and what we see now compared to what it was like, we have to be thankful that it wasn't much worse than it is, and I can't thank you all enough for coming today. Thank you so much. There will be nothing happening much at the firehouse this year, but please remember that is only temporary, and next year we will have a full party, just like always. And once again, thank you so much for being here today.